Good afternoon, I'm Michael Usher with a special edition of 7 News to bring you the latest on the New South Wales bushfire disaster. Right now, there are more than 150 fires burning across the state. You can see in the map behind me. 80 of those, we're told now, are out of control, and around a dozen have now fled to an emergency level, fuelled by dangerous winds and scorching conditions. Penrith has hit a top of 48.5 degrees, and we're hearing reports that's the highest temperature on record. Now, this is the zone fire authorities are concerned about. The entire south coast is under threat, stretching from the Victoria border to north of Jervis Bay. And the Prime Minister has just issued an emergency call-out mobilising 3,000 Army reservists to join the fight against the fires. It is an unprecedented move and the first time in our nation's history that such a call's been made. The government will also lease an extra 4 water bombers at a cost of $20 million to help the 7 large planes already being used on the fire grounds. An emergency response of this size is unheard of, with the Governor-General himself signing off on these orders earlier today.
The priority of this deployment is to assist ensuring the safety of life, to support the evacuation of affected people, particularly in isolated communities, and provide assistance to isolated communities and support state-managed evacuation centres. It is to move in and to move forward, particularly in areas that have been devastated by fire, to support the immediate response needs there and the recovery effort that will also follow.
For more, let's go live to our reporter Jessica Ridley at the Rural Fire Service headquarters. Jess, good afternoon again. The firefighting effort's been coordinated from that room that you're standing in. So how important is that pledge of extra help?
Good afternoon, Michael. Well, as you say, never in our history have we seen such a magnitude of resources being deployed. Every possible capability is now being called in with these Army brigades to assist fire-affected communities. They'll be supported by Australia's largest Navy vessel, HMAS Adelaide, and that is going to leave Sydney today to head for Mallacoota in Victoria to assist with evacuations there. Now, these reservists will also be providing assistance across multiple states grappling with bushfires. $20 million will also be spent on 4 extra firefighting aircraft too. And Defence is also going to throw open the doors to all of its bases nationwide to house anybody who's lost their homes and properties in this disaster.
Well, Jess, the conditions, they've been deteriorating significantly in the past few hours. There's no doubt about that. Just take us through what you're learning there. What's the situation now?
Yes, they certainly have been deteriorating and sadly going exactly as the RFS had predicted in a worst-case scenario. Behind me here at the Rural Fire Service headquarters, this is the main room. Every government agency sits in here, every emergency services, fire behaviour analysts in there assessing this situation minute by minute. We currently have 11 emergency warning fires burning across the state. The majority of them are situated around the south coast and the southeast corner of New South Wales. Now, I should mention Narooma, that was the one that was threatening Batemans Bay on New Year's Eve. We're seeing that fire movement shifting east towards the coast. Residents around North Narooma and surrounding areas are being told now to seek shelter. Also, Weri at Bega. There's one at Talmalmo in Victoria, which threatens to jump the Murray River and cross into New South Wales. We've also got a couple in the Snowy Valleys and the Snowy Monero too, the Currowan fire further up in the Shoalhaven, and then closer to Sydney in the Blue Mountains, that Green Valley Creek fire, which has been going on for weeks, if not months. We're seeing that fire activity picking up at some speed. We're hearing it is even impacting some sheds and properties there at the moment. Now, as you mentioned, Michael, temperatures have been soaring through the course of the day. 48.5 degrees in Penrith at 2:30 this afternoon. What we've got to watch out for now is this change in winds. A southerly buster is expected to move in the next couple of hours. And while you would think that that would cool things down, unfortunately, it's going to bring with it wind gusts up to 90 kilometres an hour. Very erratic. They're going to make the fire conditions pretty unpredictable. So the worst could still be yet to come.
All right, Jess Ridley at RFS, thank you for that. Let's go to our senior reporter, Tim Lester, who's at Narooma. That's about 70 kilometres south of Batemans Bay. Tim, by the look of it there, the conditions are taking a turn for the worse.
In fact, Michael, in the last hour or 90 minutes or so, the skies here have darkened quite remarkably, quite ominously. We are looking behind me almost directly north from Narooma, and this fits the pattern Jess was describing from Fire Service headquarters. Red diamond fires, that is their top level, the emergency level, are now essentially burning in at least a quarter of the quadrant from the north out to the west and even down to the southwest of Narooma here, and they've gone to red this afternoon. So the situation not right here at Narooma, but in the ring to the north and west, clearly has grown more serious. As well here, we've seen the power fail. So you'd think with that combination, things would be a lot more ominous for those here in Narooma. In fact, if we have a look around, things are pretty chilled. We took a visit a short time ago down to the 24-metre catamaran that's docked here. Fishermen there have offered people a place on the boat, and they're very chilled about what's going on and saying we may see a few embers, but not much more. More pensive up here on the hill as others sit and look at that quite remarkable skyline. Clearly there's concern, but it's very measured concern here in Narooma. There is nothing like panic. We are watching people basically soaking it in and thinking about the situation that lies before them. So Narooma this afternoon, still looking pretty safe, but pretty ominous too, Mike.
It looks it as well. All right, Tim Lester, thank you. We might come back to you. Let's try and find Jeff Parry now. There he is at Batemans Bay for us. Jeff, hello again. Emergency warning now in place where you are.
Yes, that's right, Michael. I'm on Clyde Road and north side close in North Batemans Bay, and that's being impacted by a fire that's got an emergency status. That's the Clyde mountain fire. As you can see, there's a big, massive plume of smoke there to the north of us, pushing its way toward the coast, and you can hear the helicopters with the buckets underneath going off. And it's not too breezy down here, but if you have a look at the tops of the trees, Michael, and you can see there's a great deal of movement. It's got a little bit cooler, and it's got more overcast than it was this morning, and there's a bit more smoke around. But just down in that gully over the last hour has been a running fire. The fire brigade have been down there dealing with that. The helicopters have been coming in and dumping water on it. The Nelligan fire is to the south of here, and that's causing all sorts of problems. If you've seen pictures of that, they're in fire protection mode up there, or property protection mode, as they are here. You can see New South Wales Fire and Rescue at this property, and there are lots of little properties dotted around this North Bateman area that they're worried because the fire is going to come from that direction heading towards the coast, and then you've got Surfside on the other side of that, and you've got South Durras. We spoke to some people at the evacuation centre this morning, Michael, who were from Surfside. They were worried about just this scenario, so they've left their homes, and it's left to these people in the fire suits and the people in the helicopters to try and protect those homes towards the coast from here, Michael.
All right, good on you, Jeff. Thank you for that. Let's go to Victoria now. The conditions there are really flaring this afternoon. The number of people unaccounted for, believe it or not, stands at 21, with 2 deaths confirmed. And right now, Malakuta, you remember that's been in the news all week, is again under threat, 4 days after thousands of people fled to the beach. Let's go to our reporter, Cassie Zervos, who's there. Cassie, it is quite extraordinary. The sky has turned day to night again there.
That's right, Michael. It's just after 3:30 in the afternoon, but it looks more like midnight. It is incredibly eerie in the town of Malakuta today. In the last hour or so, the sky has just been blanketed with a thick red haze and black smoke, a horrific reminder of what locals and holiday makers went through on New Year's Eve. Now, this all comes after more than 4,000 people fled to the foreshore earlier in the week to escape the raging bushfire. Yesterday, the Navy came in to evacuate more than 1,000 people who wanted to avoid all of this. So I had a chance to speak to some people just earlier today once the sky did turn black, and they said they weren't predicting that this would happen 2 times this week. We're not too sure what has brought this on. There's been no updates or alerts, but we plan to have continual updates as we get them as well. At this stage, for anyone who is concerned or worried, the CFA advice has been to come here straight to the water, which is where we will be. Michael.
All right, Cassie Zervos, extraordinary. there, thank you. Let's go to Matt Doran now, who's at Narooma. That's one of the most at-risk areas today. Now, Matt, we're learning here, I'm just reading now from the New South Wales RFS that potentially, quote, this is just the start of the day in terms of the forecast and the bad conditions, and they're certainly deteriorating rapidly there.
They really are, Michael. In fact, earlier today, the New South Wales Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, warned the residents in this area to not be put off by what looked like reasonably good conditions and to instead brace for an onslaught, as she called it. And unfortunately, that looks to be what is happening right now. We have fires bearing down on Narooma from a number of directions, and the advice from them that has just filtered through a large number of dangerous fires now posing a very serious threat to life. What we're seeing here on the south coast is quite remarkable. You're looking at images now from the helicopter. This is what the firefighters are seeing from above when they're trying to tackle these multiple blazes burning across about 200,000 hectares here on the south coast. The evacuations, we have not seen anything like it. Tens of thousands who've left this area, and what we're seeing on the ground too from the firefighters, we haven't seen anything like that either. 3,000 odd personnel out in the field today, 449 homes lost since New Year's Eve, 8 lives lost as well. Will give you a sense of just how important the job that is being done by these firefighters is. Where I am right now is a makeshift evacuation centre where a lot of residents have been coming if they've decided it is not too safe to stay at their home. One of those residents, I'll just invite the gentleman in now, Bob Whittington. Bob, how are you holding up? Your property is under threat right now. Do you think it'll make it?
I think it's okay at the moment, Matt. We tried to go home a while ago because we've got a generator, etc., going to try and keep the freezers and things.
Did the police let you in?
No, the police stopped us at right at our doorstep, more or less, and said to get back to town because it's too dangerous to be there.
You think it'll be all right or not?
Well, let's hope, mate. Let's hope.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
This caravan here, it now contains all your worldly possessions. What have you packed?
Well, whatever we could get, mainly some beer and some food.
Good on you, mate. The bare essentials. And what we're seeing right now, these are the people who are fighting to save your property. These aircraft right here, filling up with the water. They are doing an extraordinary job. We'll just get a shot of that now as it comes through. These people, I'm in awe of what they're doing. So, Bob, good luck. I hope your home survives. Thank you very, very much for talking to me.
All the best accolades to all the emergency services, etc. They're doing a marvellous, marvellous job.
They most certainly are. Michael, back to you.
Yeah, good on you, Matt. They are doing an amazing job. Isn't that amazing, that plane that just landed there? Another one behind you. Let's have a look at that. That's quite amazing. Can we pan across? So what are they doing there? They're filling up the skids on that aircraft,
We'll just pan across and get another shot of that now. Just go again on that, Michael. I couldn't hear you over the noise of the plane.
Yeah, Matt, they're filling up the skids, I presume, are they, for water dropping?
They are.
Yeah.
It's synchronicity watching them come in. They're doing it with such skill because you can imagine if they come in too much, they tip over, but they're doing it and they're flying straight out like clockwork to dump this on the blazes. It is an extraordinary thing to watch. People are standing here on the dock clapping. It's a beautiful thing. The community spirit here is quite something to behold given what these people are going through.
Now, speaking of that spirit, Matt, I know it's not in your area, but I'm just reading here, the comedian Celeste Barber, this is the extraordinary effort that people are going to. She put a call out on her social media. She has a lot of followers. $6 million raised.
$2 million?
$6 million right now. $6 million right now, which is extraordinary.
$6 million now. I was about to say $2 million. I heard about an hour ago or 2 hours ago that is amazing, and also what's being done here down at ground level. That's obviously what people are doing with their public profiles, but what people are doing at community level
Take care,
is
Matt.
incredible.
We've got to get out of here.
They're donating everything they own.